as you see with this case, all of the facts are breathtaking. The things that were revealed by WikiLeaks, each element, each of the crimes that were revealed over the years, and then the crimes that have been committed against Julian Assange through holding him, the plotted assassination, the abuses that he suffered in the Ecuadorian embassy and then since in Belmarsh are quite remarkable. So what we've tried to do in high-profile hearings modelled on the Russell Sartre tribunals against the Vietnam War is to flip that on its head. Rather than Julian Assange being on trial, have the crimes of empire be on trial,
right.
Have the corporate crimes that he's revealed be on trial. So we've taken evidence from UN figures, from politicians, from lawyers, from journalists, from former detainees, from people who have suffered the crimes of empire that were revealed by WikiLeaks and revealed by the journalistic work of Julian Assange, and to put those in a formal setting where the people of the world can see really what is on stake, what is on trial in this court here, and hopefully not, but potentially in the US. And it is our ability to know those things, to have an understanding of the world which is true to what has actually happened, where we can understand who are the real criminals, who it is who is inflicting misery on others, and who it is who's trying to expose those things.
Right, and I think that's a great juxtaposition to talk about the Belmarsh Tribunal and then compare it to what's happening here. And in particularly the openness, the transparency. Is that something you want to comment on in terms of the transparency surrounding all of this?
Absolutely. So in our tribunals, we've now had 6 of them in different cities around the world. They are all fully live streamed, every element of it. There's journalistic access. We never had any of the problems which the court had the last time we were here,
right,
with the journalists not being able to hear if they were in the court, not being allowed to access the court if they weren't journalists from England and Wales, not being able to hear it on the live stream. And these are very basic technical things which can be delivered, which we know that if the British state wanted to serve the interests of transparency and accountability and basic journalistic freedoms, they would have done so. But it's so telling that where essentially journalism is on trial right here, they weren't able to give journalists the most basic thing, being able to hear what is going on in the court.
Right, it is. It's I think, as this goes forward, and as it has gone forward over the years, the overall points of what are being addressed here, this right of us to know what our governments are doing, is being continually, the light's being shined on that, right? In the sense that in order to continue forward with this persecution and prosecution, they have to keep doing the same types of obstruction, the same types of their willingness to obscure, right? And so, looking back again at the Belmarsh Tribunals, though, what are those key points that were brought up that maybe people are not so familiar with that you're seeing play out here right now?
So I think it's obscuring and threatening, and when they do those things, when the state threatens the media, it has a very long after trail, and it's hard to see because what you're seeing is reporting that didn't happen, news stories that you didn't hear about. So for me, one of the really important elements of one sitting of the Belmarsh Tribunal, which took place in London in Westminster, in the room that Parliament sat in during World War II, was from Ewan McCaskill, who was a long-time Guardian journalist, and the Guardian worked with Julian Assange and WikiLeaks to reveal some of the stories. And you'll notice that there isn't anyone from the Guardian here today, and their reporting of Julian Assange and this whole trial has been extremely limited. And you have to ask yourself why, when this was one of the media outlets that was using the Assange material.
For folks who are watching, as vehicles go by, including that very large truck, they honk in support of Julian. So, yeah.
So the Guardian was one of the global outlets that was taking the material, working with WikiLeaks and putting forward the stories, and they haven't been doing that. And a big part of that reason is they were threatened. They were threatened by the British state. They had their hard drives. They had to destroy their hard drives in the basement of their building. And the impact of that reporting carries on today. Now, Ewan McCaskill has since retired. He was a long-time defence editor. He had a whole variety of different roles. And so he was able to speak out and speak really as the voice of what the Liberal paper was before it was threatened by the state. And I think that's what we're seeing. That's the real impact of this case already. There are already stories that people should know about. Crimes that have been committed in the names of people that are watching this right now by our government that we don't know about because this is what's going on here. And that is, I think, what we have to be very clear about. Of course, this is the persecution of one man, but it is also all of our right to know. The number of stories, the number of things, the number of crimes that have taken place in the world that we don't know about because of this persecution right here is unfathomable, and that itself is a grave crime that has been committed against all of us.
Right, and what you just explained there is you see the various elements of empire that link arms together to
Correct.
protect themselves,
Yeah.
right? And Guardian, great case in point. So before I let you go, what is something that people can do to support Julian Assange, but support these larger aspects of what we're here for? This, free press, free speech, transparency. What's something people can do?
So, of course, people can join the campaign. They can raise their voice specifically on Julian's case, but they should also know that any type of activism that you are doing against empire is part of the same struggle. So just down the road is the London School of Economics. There's an empanelment there for Palestine. That is part of the same struggle. That is part of the struggle against empire, which is trying to restrict our right to know so that it can carry on its crimes. So I think all of the ways in which people are engaging against the crimes of empire and in support of basic freedom, truth and democracy for all of us, that is all part of the same struggle, and therefore we have to link arms. In the way that you said that empire links arms, we need to link arms. We need to link arms for a mutiny against the current world system, which unites those in the South who have generally been greatly sinned against, with the majority of the population. The majority of the population in the US, the majority of the population here in Britain, do not support the crimes that are committed in their name. And we can mutiny as well, and we can all link arms. Us in the North that don't want the crimes that are carried out in our names, and those in the South who have the crimes committed against them. And if we were to do so, it wouldn't just be Julian Assange that is freed. Many of the grave crimes that he revealed and many of the crimes that he could have revealed if he weren't in prison, those won't happen in the future.
Right, exactly. James, I appreciate your time here. I appreciate your work. James Schneider, Progressive International, and people can find the Belmarsh Tribunals online, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, James.
Great, thanks.
Appreciate it.